You leave a meeting, a casual chat, a date, or even a tiny interaction at the checkout. And the conversation doesn't leave you. Hours later, you're replaying it in your head like a recording, what you said, what they said, the joke that didn't quite land, the moment their expression changed. You're brushing your teeth and suddenly think, why did I say that? You're trying to fall asleep and your brain serves up a full rerun. Tone, wording, pauses, even the silence after your comment. Meanwhile, everyone else seems to walk away, shrug, and move on. You quietly ask yourself, why can't I just let things go? Why do I overthink every tiny conversation like it's an exam I already failed? If one short interaction can turn into a full-length mental movie in your head, what psychology knows about people like you is something most of us are never told. And it might completely change how you see this overthinking side of yourself. You've probably heard it from other people more times than you can count. You overthink everything. No one else even remembers that. Just let it go. Maybe you've tried to laugh it off. Yeah, my brain won't shut up, but inside, it doesn't feel funny. It feels exhausting. You catch yourself bringing up a tiny detail from a conversation hours later and someone says, "Wait, you're still thinking about that?" And you suddenly feel ridiculous. So you turn the blame inward. Why can't I be like everyone else? Why does my brain grab onto every awkward pause, every weird word, every micro reaction, and refuse to drop it? While other people treat conversations as something that happened and are now done, you treat them like puzzles that have to be solved before you're allowed to rest. Most people like you stop here and decide they're just anxious or broken. But that's only because nobody ever explained what kind of mind keeps working on conversations long after they're over. What almost no one tells you is that overthinking every conversation is often not a sign that you're socially broken. It's a sign that you're a deep social processor. Psychology has words for this: metacognition and mental simulation. Your brain doesn't just have interactions, it reviews them, dissects them, and imagines alternative versions. Add strong social sensitivity to that, and your mind naturally asks, what did that really mean? How did I come across? What could I do better next time? It's not stupidity, that's depth. The same wiring that makes you replay can also make you more self-aware, more empathetic, and more capable of growth than someone who never thinks twice. The problem isn't that you think, it's what you do with that thinking. The next part will unpack how this style helps you when it flips into self-attack, and how to keep the benefits of your overthinking without living in constant mental reruns. To understand why your brain won't drop conversations, you have to see what it's actually doing with them. First, there's metacognition, thinking about your own thinking. You don't just talk and move on. Part of you steps back and reviews the tape. Why did I phrase it like that? What else could I have said? Why did they go quiet after I joked? That inner analyst is the reason you notice patterns in how you show up, and why you often know exactly what you'd do differently next time. It's annoying, but it's also how you grow. Second, there's perceived social threat. If you've ever been mocked, rejected, or punished for what you said by parents, teachers, friends, partners, your brain may quietly treat conversations as high-stakes events. It scans for danger. Did I sound stupid? Did I offend them? Are they mad at me now? Even when nothing is actually wrong, your threat system doesn't fully trust that, so it keeps the file open and keeps working the problem. Third, there's care for impact. You probably care a lot about not hurting people, not embarrassing yourself or others, not damaging relationships. Overthinking is your brain's way of asking, did I do right by them? Did I do right by me? The same trait that tortures you can also make you the kind of person who apologizes when it matters, clears/misunderstandings, and adjusts when you really did mess up. Most people only see you overthinking. They don't see the analyst, the alarm system, and the heart that actually cares about its effect on other people. The real issue isn't that your brain revisits conversations, it's whether it's using that power to help you grow or just to beat you up. Here's where your mind can either be your ally or your enemy. There's a version of this where your replay is actually healthy reflection. You notice, I interrupted a lot there, or next time I'll be more direct, and you gently tuck that away as information. You learn, adjust, and move on. That's your deep processing brain doing what it's meant to do. Then there's rumination, the loop, where you're not learning anything new, you're just attacking yourself. The thoughts shift from, that moment was awkward, to, I'm awkward. I always ruin things. Of course they don't like me. Same scene, completely different story. One makes you wiser, the other makes you smaller. A powerful question to ask yourself is, right now, am I using this replay to understand what happened or to prove to myself that I'm the problem? When you see it clearly, your story stops being, I'm a broken overthinker, and starts sounding more like the truth. You have a deep, high-awareness social mind living in a world that rarely slows down enough for that depth. You don't just move through conversations, you review them, care about them, and want to do better next time. That's not a defect. That's a kind of emotional intelligence that just needs better boundaries. Working with this wiring doesn't mean forcing yourself to stop thinking. It means steering the thinking. When you catch yourself spiraling, you can gently redirect from, I'm so stupid, to, that moment was uncomfortable. What, if anything, can I learn from it? Set limits. Give yourself a few minutes to reflect. Write down one takeaway if there is one, and then consciously close the file. When no new insight is showing up, that's your cue to say, this is my anxiety talking now, not reality, and bring your attention back to the present. If this felt like someone just narrated what your brain does after every conversation, you're not the only one, and you're not too much for carrying this deeply. You're a deep social processor, learning how to let your mind be a guide instead of a jailer. Subscribe and stay close if you want more videos that decode traits like this without shaming you.